Hey, Molly, you know it's the cutest animal on the planet?
Pigs. Penguins.
No, no,
Tasmanian devil.
no,
Sharks.
no. Oh my gosh, stop. A grifflet.
Oh, grifflets are
A
back.
grifflet. Yeah, the grifflets are back. So, you guys know on some of our previous couple times ago, first page critiques, we had a wonderful submission called The Harbinger, and it mentioned grifflets, baby griffins. And it was so cool and we had so much fun with it. And whenever we do a first page critique, we always email the author, let them know that we've done their first page critique and it's live on our YouTube and to please come and check it out. And it was awesome because the author emailed us back and said, hey, I really appreciate you guys doing this, but I've actually made a lot of changes to that first page. And she also gave us some fan art. Those of you who have joined our newsletter know that because I put it in the newsletter. It's possibly up on screen. I don't know. It may happen during
It's up
editing.
on screen now.
All right, it's up on screen now. So we had wonderful, wonderful fan art of Grifflets as well. And the author asked if she could resubmit. And we said, why not? Of course you can. So we are going to do a first page critique, a re-critique uh, of The Harbinger.
I'm super excited. Also, I want to say I love the art. I Since the author made it for her own work, I'm not sure that it's fan art exactly. I mean, she's her biggest fan, I'm sure.
True.
But
That's
it's
true.
it's great. It's awesome. She's so talented in a way that I am not, and I love it. I love just like look at the expression. Teresa's can't see this at the moment, but look at the expression on this little guy's face. He's just okay. That was my moment. I'm having a great time. Should we get to our first page critique, or what else do we need to tell people before we jump in?
If you are interested in submitting a first page critique or resubmitting, because why not? What the heck? You go to www.semisagesofthepages.com. You can also reach out to us on Discord. Let us know. We'll figure it out. Just connect with one of us. We'll help you out. But if you want to resubmit, go for it. We'd love to see what you've come up with.
Excellent. Should we jump in?
I think so. Okay. I'm going to read this one. The Harbinger. According to the storyteller, dying was simply forgetting how to be alive. Arwen watched the wide-eyed silhouettes seep further into the cavern and wondered if her 8 years' worth of memories were enough to keep the entity away from the eggs. A bead of sweat ran down her forehead despite the chill, and her heart thudded against her rib cage. Her limbs were frozen, as though even a brief glimpse of the entity was enough to paralyze her. A warm hand grasped her own, and the storyteller's kind brown eyes found hers. His curly hair and little ropey beard glowed white under the faint moonlight cast over the distant sea and through the cave's entrance. He stuck his tongue out at her, and Arwen was so surprised she nearly forgot to be scared. Sorry, sometimes I make faces when I'm frightened, the storyteller whispered, leaning in conspiratorially. I'm afraid I'm utterly useless in this situation, you see, but I'm glad to have a strong erudite like you by my side now. Arwen couldn't help but give a nervous giggle in response. She'd been an erudite for a little over a year, but most of her training so far had been spent playing with the Griffagons and learning how to fly them to the clouds without falling off. The other erudites had known of the secret of the Griffagons for much longer. They were the ones with experience keeping the creatures of the dream realm from entering Elamore. There were 12 Arielites in total, including herself, her parents, and her sister. They and the already grown Griffagons were the only barrier between the eggs and the entity materializing out of the blue mist at the back of the cave. Ooh. And I'm so sorry. I had no idea how to say that word. And I think I just, yeah. So, erudite? I'm sorry.
It's fantasy. You just do your best.
Exactly, exactly. Okay, so this is very different from the last one. A completely different opening. So, what do we think?
Yeah, I think first off, like you said, I am amazed by how different it is. Usually, when people rewrite a first page, they might like play with the grammar or this or that, or like adjust little things. And this author just decided to like completely kind of reframe this opening scene, and I really like it. As much as I really in the first one, you had the cute little grifflets playing
Griffiths.
around, and it was just kind of like this adorable feeling. Now I have a feeling of like tension and suspense, like what's going to happen next. I have questions, but I'm not overwhelmed by questions. I know certain things, so like yeah, I think it's striking a really interesting and a really good balance in a lot of ways between the information you know and the information in as a reader that you want to know, so you want to keep reading to find out. So I think that's really good and really well done. I also want to commend. I love the first line. I love the first line. Um, if you've ever heard me talk about first lines, because I will talk people's ears off about first lines and transitions and hooks and all that kind of stuff. One of my favorite things that happens in a first line is when you mix together the themes of death and survival. It makes very powerful, potent first lines. So I love this. It draws me in right away. What do you think, Teresa?
I agree. This is such a tonal shift from the last one. The last one had an almost humorous, not whimsical, but kind of humorous edge to it that may have been kind of the accents and also the Griffiths. They were so cute. And we loved the idea of them. But this is very different. We know that there's an entity that's pretty scary because Erwin is sweating and her limbs are frozen and something bad is going to happen. And that's very well done. I love the first line. I agree with that one. The first paragraph is fantastic as well. We know she's in danger. We know she's 8 years old. And for people who have read Neil Gaiman's the Ocean at the End of the Lane, you know that fear that happens when you have a main character that is a child and is in significant danger. That to me always causes a lot of tension. I'm always like, oh my gosh, I have to read this. I have to know what's going to happen. So that is very, very well done. I love the detail of the storyteller, the curly hair, and the ropey beard. What a
That's a good word.
fantastic word choice. So it's really nice. Yeah, I really enjoy this first page a great deal. Very different, but
Yeah.
very well done.
And something I think is also going to work well, we know we have this cute scene with the baby griffins, the grifflets. We know that that has been written in some way. And here we see it before they're born. So we know, like, the author's doing something really smart here, which is presumably at some point in time later, the tension will ease, these eggs are going to hatch, and then we'll have our cute scene with the griffins, the baby griffins, and it will feel like this wonderful tension break, right? It'll do
Mhm.
this wonderful thing storytelling wise. So I'm excited for that too.
Yeah. Okay, what's our critiques?
For me, my biggest critique was a little bit to me was the pacing on this page.
Mhm.
So I feel a lot of tension in the beginning, and I'm there. I'm in that moment. It's tension that we're in this moment with the storyteller. Even he sticks out his tongue. I was with it there, um, and then I think what gets me is the last two paragraphs, because it pulls me out of this tension filled moment. and it's giving me like background exposition type of information, which I don't think I need right now. And I think I would prefer to stay in this tension filled moment. Like, why is there an 8-year old guarding these? Couldn't they have found someone better? And instead we're talking about her background and like, flying in the sky and stuff like that. And I want to be here in the cave. I want to be in the cave, and I want to be ramping up tension there and not have my focus pulled somewhere else, I think.
And that is very, very tricky to do.
It is.
Generally, early on, if you're going to start with a very tense scene, as Molly's saying, stay there. You don't necessarily need to do the background, give the bare minimum of what the reader needs to stay in the moment. However, because you, the author, know all the background and everything else, it is very hard to know what the reader needs to know because I see both sides of it where it's too much info, and then I'm like, we need a little bit of info here. There's nothing at all. So beta readers, editors can help you find that balance. Later on, as the story continues, you can start dropping more information. And once you get really good at it and you get further along in the back, you can actually break up tense scenes and provide information in them. Because at that point, you've hooked the reader, and the reader will follow along and be like, all right, I know I'm getting a little bit of an info dump here, but I'm going to keep reading because I want to know what's going to happen. And I probably really need this information. So it's okay. I'm going to go with it. Early on, you can't do that because you really run the risk they're going to put the book down.
Yeah, for me it's a really hard balance, like you're saying. I think for me it's all about this tension, and the reason I'm reading it is because I want to know about this moment. And the author does a really great job of giving little details intermixed earlier. Like in the second paragraph, wondered if her 8 years worth of memory. Okay, that's a really like clever way to tell us that the main character is 8 years old here, right? We're learning more about this background of the storyteller, just a little bit here and there. The storyteller says that, she is a strong airite. We don't know what airite means yet, but we're learning more about this world in a very organic way. And then that organic way of learning about the world is very abruptly transitioned into more of an info dump type of way, right? So there's just a different style as well there, if you want to call it that. And like Teresa said, it's really hard to balance. It is really hard to balance, especially in the beginning, because your readers give you so little leeway in the beginning of your book.
Yeah. But honestly, that's a fairly easy fix. And this is really good. Even with I would not put a book down for that. I'll
No,
be honest. I would not.
no, I want to learn more.
Yeah, us too.
Thank you for sending
Okay.
this stuff or this story to us again. We love that we got a chance to read it again, and we wish you the best. And we love the art too. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Tell your friends, it really does make a difference. And come over and say hi. Hop onto our Discord. We're getting more and more people over there all the time. A lot of wonderful writers, a lot of great advice over there. So come over, chat with us, have fun.
Sounds great. Take care.
Take care. Bye now.